What is up, everybody? It's your boy Joe Show21 here. I'm back with another exciting Clash Royale video. So today we're here going to be talking about the Cannoneer. You can definitely see in the thumbnail. I'm going to make a rework. Yeah, I'm making a rework for the Cannoneer. It doesn't need a buff, okay? It doesn't need a nerf. It actually needs both. So I decided to actually make a rework just for the Cannoneer to make it basically more use, but at the same time give it more work for your buck. So during these 2 days I have wrote down many things, and basically I had to check every card that does get targeted, mostly when it comes to the Cannoneer, to see if it does make a difference or not. So we had to do like that. So I decided to add some tanks. I decided to add some cards that usually get one shot from the Cannoneer, and actually see what kind of differences they will be making. So we will be talking about more of basically all of that in this video. So this is gonna be, I don't think it's gonna be a long video, but at the same time I don't think it's gonna be that short. It really depends how it's gonna be. So make sure to leave a like, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you wanted me to see or basically make more reworks, buffs, or nerf cards that you guys do like to see. So I would definitely be doing that. And hit the bell too to get notified when I post another video. And let's get this video out. So let's do this. Cannoneer. Okay, so let me full explain how the basically Cannoneer does work, because we need to learn how does a Cannoneer work. First thing first, Cannoneer is an epic card, so it's a bit harder to basically get. Of course, some people probably already got it. I don't got it yet, okay? Even though I already got the new Tower Troop, and I did save it, and I did use it when it came out. I didn't got it, so it's fine, I guess. But I had to say, when it comes to the Cannoneer, I already made the video how I talk about is underwhelming, because with so much damage but so long of a hit speed, and I basically had to work everything back to hit points, to damage, to hit speed, even adding a new ability, which I will be talking about it in this video, because oh man, it was just so much to talk about. I was wondering, how can I make this card, or basically make this Tower Troop, useful but at the same time work for your buck. You want to see this one more time. If you got it, you're like, oh, this one knows how to actually use their Cannoneer pretty well. And it was really difficult to do it, because even with the tournament standard, it was just really difficult to think about how can I make the Cannoneer actually efficient, and again, just work for your buck. So I had to check on. I wrote down basically all the stats from the Tower Princess. Basically, Tower Princess have 3,052. We're talking about tournament standards, so level 11, okay? So just make sure. You have 3,352. It does 109 damage. It does 0.8 seconds. Damage per second, 136, and the range is 7.5. So even though the range is actually the same thing, it's actually not. So it's a bit weird to say this, but I don't know. It's like more of an oval shape when it comes to the Cannoneer. If you go to battle, let's say for example, if you go to battle and your first is you took one of the Cannoneers out, okay? And you start targeting the King's Tower. That Cannoneer, the other side, will not help you. Why? Because of that radius. I don't know. It's weird to explain it. But that radius, it's like more of a circle for the Cannoneer. It won't, for some reason, it just can't hit it, which is weird. So I decided, this one's difficult. I decided to give it more range, so it can actually target the troops faster. So in order to make this more simple but yet more effective, I decided to give the range, instead of a 7.5, it's going to go to an 8 range. So 8 tile range, or That's not 8 tolerant. It's basically the range is going to go to 7.5 to 8. So now it have a bigger radius. I think it go above the bridge. Yeah, it goes slightly above, just a little bit above the bridge right there. So basically, your Cannoneer have a higher chance of taking that troop out before he even pass the bridge, barely right there. Especially if it is very fast, then it change how the cars usually work, and this how to make the Cannoneer better. But at the same time, can also fight along the King Tower if it does get close to it, and this how to make the card basically have a bigger radius, so it have more chance of actually hitting for once. So let's talk about the hit points too. So the hit points you could see right here in tournament standard. It was showing 2,616. I was looking at the Princess Tower, basically checking all of that. And, it's 3,052. So I decided, okay, let's see what kind of increase. Like, I really want to increase the HP, but not so much it passed it. So I still think it needed basically just it should be below the tower, okay? Because remember, it's an epic. You want most of the time epics always counter the commons. Most of the time, it really does depends how you use the epic troops to versus the common troops. Okay, it could be like common winning against the epic troops, or epic's troops annihilate the common troops because like the level or because its ability just to do so good. So to basically explain how I did this change, I decided to give the hit points and buff. So how much hit point buff I give? I give a 10% buff increase. So it's basically going to 2,616 to 2,878. Even with the Princess Tower, I minus the Princess Tower, which is 3,052, minus the new increase of the buff, 2,878. I minus that all together. Is the differences will be about 174. I was about to say 1,700. No, it's 174, which that still make a hit points nerf. Okay, it's still lower than the Tower Princess, and it's still worth it. So you don't have to really, how can I say, when it comes to spell cycle, you don't have to really focus on basically just that, because you notice that since the Cannoneer have lower HP, you can basically just take it out with like the rocket. It's one less cycle for the rocket. So just you guys do notice. So I decided, you know what? I'm not gonna do it like that. I'm gonna increase the hit points and to do it like that. So basically, that's how I did it, making it 2,000. If it's showing right. So for my new, if they for some reason increase the hit points, I feel like it should be 2,878. That will be the original hit points for the basically the level 11 tournament standard. I was not gonna do a level 15 just because I feel like it would be pretty dumb to do like a level 15, because most of the player base, I think they're about level 12, 13, 14 as of right now. So I feel like this is pretty reasonable talking like that. So I decided, you know what, since we're gonna do it like that, we're gonna have to nerf the damage, okay? Of course, nerfing the damage is probably reasonable just because a lot of people can agree. It's legit, it's a tank killer, but it's too much of a tank killer. So I decided to change it, basically giving it a nerf right here, minus 14%. Yeah, you hear me. I give it a minus 14% nerf from its damage. So it's going to 422 to 388. So, as you guys do notice, to explain everything, okay? It's still one shot Dark Goblin. It's still one shot the Princess. Still one shot the Firecracker. One-shots archers. It basically one-shots all those cards that get annihilated with arrows. And I checked with the other characters, well, other troops, like the Musketeer, the Wizard, the Electro Wizard, because they usually survive Fireball, and they all still get hit 2 shots. Even with the nerf, it takes 2 shots to kill them. So with that 14% of nerf, of course I decided with that 14% of nerf, I'm gonna have to change the hit speed. So I did not decide, okay, we're gonna probably change the hit speed to like legit low, because I was saying what kind of hit speed can I make the Cannoneer to make it more worth it, but at the same time not so OP, so it could basically break the game. So I decided to check on some troops that are very similar to 2.4 seconds and see what kind of like hit speed do I go. So the first one I went was what was it? I went to the Golden Knight. Golden Knight didn't work because it was definitely too fast. So I decided to just go to like 1.5 seconds. I checked that. Goblin Giant didn't work really good on it. So I went to Spear Goblins and Mega Knight. Spear Goblins, Mega Knight, they both had the same thing, 1.7 seconds on their hit speed. I checked it, I was like, as much I would like to say it sounds really worth it, I was like, I think it's just way too fast for it. So I went to the P.E.K.K.A. because P.E.K.K.A. and Mini P.E.K.K.A. are 1.8 seconds. I checked right there, 1.8 second. I was like, okay, this is actually not bad. But I cannot give it like that, just because even with the damage, it basically just one-shots, all the, arrows troops like that, and 2 shots any fireball troops. So honestly, I say that was not worth it. I should go way higher. So I went high, and basically looked at the balloon. Remember, the balloon got a rework, so they basically nerf his like death damage, but to order to make it really good, they actually increased the balloon and also their damage, increased the balloon hit speed to 3 seconds to 2 seconds. So I went to the balloon, check how much 2 seconds, how fast it is. I was like, oh, this one can actually work because it'd be really actually good. But of course, I was like, okay, what's a card that's really good with this hit speed? Or it's very similar to the Cannoneer as of right now. So I checked 2.4 seconds. The Hunter. I don't know why I didn't check it before. I checked the Hunter. Hunter is 2.2 seconds. Its hit speed. And it barely, like, defended on the Hog Rider. So I decided that's the new hit speed right there. So the hit speed is going to go to 2.4 seconds to 2.2 seconds right there. Same thing as the Hunter. So it basically is a bit faster, 0.2 second faster, and that's about an increase of a 67% increase right there. So a target, that's just what everybody wanted, okay? A target things faster, but does less damage. But this is where the basically, how can I say, the cheat comes, or basically I don't know how you say this, but the fun part. So I decided, okay, a lot of people was gonna say something like area damage wise. Okay, why don't we just add a bit of an area damage? I did not because I feel like area damage would be too much. So why not, instead of area damage, we add a new concept, or at least just like similar to Electro Dragon, it does ricochet. Okay, it doesn't splash, it doesn't do area splash, but it ricocheted. It ricocheted a total of 3 targets. That's the max, okay? 3 targets, the max. So when it does that, absolutely, it will nerf the damage. Now, I had to test this out, basically just to see how much the nerf damage will be if he does do 3 targets. This is the 2 concept, okay? It is basically a tank killer, but it affects more on Swarm now because it have a faster hit speed. It does ricochet 3 targets, okay? 3 targets. Of course, I had to check this out to see how does the Electric Dragon does work and all of that. So when I checked it, okay, let me go down. Where is the Electric Dragon? Where are you? There you go. Electric Dragon. Of course, you can see right here, it does do 3 chain attacks. Right there, 2.1 seconds. So I decided to give basically the exact same thing, does change damage, but ricochet. Because the cannon, remember, the cannon is legit big. It looks like it could do area damage, but I decided to not give area damage because I feel like it would make the card too powerful. So I decided to do it like that and give it ricochet. So it's basically going to do similar to the same concept as the Electric Dragon, but it does do chain damage, okay? Chain damage right there. 3 targets or ricochet. So it's still with 2 shots any troops that does fireball. You can definitely see in the video, you know, even it would stay basically exact same thing. But now it can counter bats like Skeleton Army, Goblin Gain, any troop that's basically more than like 5, it can counter them more better with the hit speed nerf, or basically hit speed buff, but less damage. And it makes it 100% better. I know I made this video and I put a lot of work to this one. I think this one is probably one of my most videos, or basically my most put out things, because I don't usually do this type of like videos anymore. Mostly just because I was like, okay, maybe this could work. But a lot of people say that Cannoneer was underwhelming. So I decided to give an actual rework. And I feel like this will make more sense. So let me explain on some troops. Troops like the Hog Rider right here are testing out with the nerf, the damage nerf to be more precisely. And the Hog Rider, it will take about 5 hits to order to kill the Hog Rider. But if you do have, like, for example, a cannon or a Tesla right there, it will guarantee annihilate the Hog Rider with a building. So if you have an building with the Cannoneer, it's basically with, and even they use Ice Golem Hog Rider, it is still, Hog Rider will not get a hit. Hog Rider will not get a hit. But the test I did right here, it would not at all. It would be close, but it would not. If they decided, you know, Ice Golem Hog Rider, then a zap, it will get a hit. 1 hit, that's all. So just so you guys do notice, you could, you know, again, I had to test out the Hog Rider because a lot of people use Hog Rider. It's like one of those cards that's like, oh snap, it's like, I gotta defend as fast as possible. So to order to defend it, you could just do it like that. Makes sense. So let me give you the full stats of my rework, or basically everything that I need to tell you of the stats. So stats 2,616 plus 10% of increase. So basically we'll go to 2,616 to 2,878. So a 10% hit points buff. The damage will be nerfed 422 by 14%, going to 388. Again, it's still one-shot Princess, Firecracker, Dark Goblin, Archers. You know, one-shots all those cards that get usually annihilated with arrows. Even with the evolutions, it's still one-shots. Firecracker evolution. I can't say anything about Archer's evolution. Wait, let me check on that real quick. Okay, I got it. So let me explain how this works. Okay, so with the damage nerf, it one-shots Archer's evolutions, but it does not one-shot Firecracker evolution. It would be Slither, legit a Slither health. Like, I'm talking about like less than 10 HP. Okay, so you can't let the Cannoneer actually target it with the Firecracker evolution. Firecracker evolution will actually survive one shot of a Cannoneer shot. With the nerf. I'm talking about with the nerf, okay? Without the nerf, it one shots like that. But with the nerf, it actually take 2 shots to actually kill it. So that's basically you need to know. If they for some reason nerf it like that, it's not gonna happen. But I decided to make my own rework. Okay, cool. So the hit speed will go to 2.4 seconds, down to 2.2 seconds. Same thing as the hunter. Basically around 67% of an increase of hit speed doing it like that. And a special ability, it ricocheted 3 targets, or basically does chain damage 3 targets right there, and does that for every 2.4 seconds. So it defends more of swarm like bats, skeleton army, goblin barrel. Well, goblin barrel won't make that much a difference because it gotta be more than. If they put it like close together like Goblin Barrel, it would definitely ricochet. But if they do it like the Turkey Barrel right there, where there's one from each side, it will not work. It would stay the same. It would just go faster attack speed. So just you guys do notice right there. So Turkey Barrel and a Cannoneer will still stay the same right there. Okay. So what was it? Skeleton Barrel will be destroyed faster, but it will still get some hits due to the hit speed right there. So you guys do notice. And basically all of that, that's everything I gotta say. This is probably the most I ever talk about from like just a tower troop, honestly. I know tower troop just came, but actually how a lot of people were saying that even though the Cannoneer, they just was saying that it was underwhelming. Even for an epic card, you would think the Cannoneer will be actually great. But honestly, even when playing the Cannoneer launch, I've been making decks about it, just seeing what kind of deck should I do, and honestly, as much I would say it sounds pretty fun. It's not the best, legit. I just don't think it gives you great value. And I hope that, again, share this video to anyone that, does play Clash Royale. Because legit, I put a lot of work to this. Like, there's many times I don't, I just do a challenge and then boom, like that. But legit, I've been putting so much work from this video out because I had to check on every card that usually a lot of people will use. So that's why I talk about Dark Goblin, Archers, Firecracker, even their evolutions, Hog Rider, Musketeer, Wizard, Electro Wizard, even Mega Knight. I had to check on Mega Knight and Mini P.E.K.K.A. because of their hit speed to see what can I do to order to make this card better. Or basically make this tower troop better, but not so OP. It will actually ruins the game, and I think I finally did it after probably like 4 tries. I had to say this is probably my best result yet. So honestly, again, this is just in my opinion, but that is basically the. If I ever made a rework for a Cannoneer and they actually took notice, I'd be really happy. I don't care. I'll just be really happy that Cannoneer will actually be more useful. Because I think it's a great card. It's really underwhelming. Because you could use Skeleton Barrel, you could use Graveyard, and it annihilates the Cannoneer. Bro. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. So, basically explaining everything right there. I hope you guys like this concept, like this rework. If you don't, you can just comment down below. Oh, I don't think this card needs a rework, or Tower Troop doesn't need a rework, or I do think this Tower Troop needs a rework because it needs to be changed. But officially, I had to say, I think that's probably the best result I ever get as of right now. So thank you guys for watching this. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe. I know this video is quite long, but again, I told you guys that I was going to do a rework, and that's what I did. So that's all I really want to say. Thank you guys for watching this. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and see you guys next time. Love you guys to the best.